Hey guys, so with the decline of the spooky Sampai, Spooky Saturdays, I'm going to be doing a new thing called Fractured Fridays. Now, 2017, I wrote a novel for NaNoWriMo, and up until last year, I had written one every year since like 2010 ish, maybe even before that. But last year was the last year, or it was the first year that I didn't write for NaNoWriMo. And that is because when I wrote this novel in 2017, I hated it so much that I decided that I didn't like writing anymore. Yesterday, me and one of my friends were kind of talking about it, and just some ideas that we randomly had. I think she started it out by sending me a song that reminded her of a couple of the characters, and I was like, "Oh, this is good." And actually, I've been thinking about. So we got to talking about it, and I was like, "Well, I'll go and read over the draft again, see how it reads, and maybe I'll try working on it again." So last night and a little bit this morning, I read through the whole thing, and it wasn't as bad as I remembered it, even though the writing's super dry and bland. The story itself wasn't as bad as I remembered, and there's a couple parts that I remembered like being super intense, and they were still intense when I read them over, and I don't think they will be to other people just because it's in my head, so it means more to me. Um, but at the time, I was still very, very sick. And looking at anything that I made, I hated it. But looking back at it and all the pictures that I made for it, the story itself it was really impressive. I was living off like mochas and bubblegum during that time. And to have written a whole entire novel, it's like 50,206 words. I wrote that in 30 days living off of mochas and bubblegum, and that's pretty impressive. So there's still a lot I want to fix in the story itself. There's a lot I've added to it. There's just a lot of changes that need to be made from the 2017 version to the 2019 version. But since I don't want this novel to be a waste of time that I had written, and it's something that I thought about doing after I finished, but put it to the side, didn't want to look at it anymore. So I think now what I'm going to do is I'm going to share this story with you through my voice and reading through it myself with you. This way, for me, you kind of get the voice that I want you to hear, because I don't think I could do it with my style of writing. So this way, you'll get to hear it the way it was meant to be heard. And without further ado, here's my novel from 2017, Fractured. Not long ago, almost too close for comfort, was an invasion of darks into the city. They took people's fragments without reservation and gobbled up each and every one they could get their hands on. The city was in tatters. People were afraid to leave their homes. Most people starved to death, too afraid to leave. What waited outside was much worse for them, though. If even one of their fragments was taken, they too would become a dark, an ever-searching monster, seeking to take and take and take and take more soul fragments until they die. However, those descended from the Great War decided to stand up and push back the darks. These are what we now call Dark Hunters. Although there has never been an attack on such a large scale since, even still, people that we now call light stay inside at night. People all over the world train to rise against the steadily increasing population of darks. It's almost been 5 years since the invasion, and there had been only 1 or 2 dark attacks since then to the city. Other places haven't been quite so lucky. That's why the Dark Hunters still exist, to protect the people where the patrollers cannot. Sky Starrett snapped the book shut, grinning, savoring the look on all her classmates' faces with her violet eyes. A lot of them left right after that. terrified by the thought of darks who weren't just bedtime stories to scare children into staying indoors after sunset. However, there were 4 who stayed, watching the tiny, curly-haired girl with shining eyes. What was grander than being a hero in your own city, known throughout the whole world? "From here on out," said the 5-year-old Sky, "we will be the coolest, youngest dark hunters in history." Her new friends cheered in agreement.